going on here.
Mom life is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
All right. Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Mom Podcast. We have a little bit of a different vibe for you this evening as we're recording. Cammie, unfortunately, was not able to record this week. It's her birthday week, and she has a lot of special stuff going on. So shout out Cammie and happy birthday on Friday. But we do have a very, very special guest this evening. My beautiful, loving husband, Collin.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's good to be here.
Poor Collin is on the outs right now. Yeah.
I'm living off crutches right now.
Yeah, so he got drug into, not drug into, you were happy to do it.
No, I wanted it.
Yeah, he got recruited to do the podcast since Cammie was unable to fulfill her duties this week. And we've been wanting to do a dad type podcast where we meet the dads anyway. So what better time to do it than when your husband's crippled?
And it has been a tough cycle being crippled because you're having to do everything. And
Yeah, tell the people how you're feeling.
So I'm hurting pretty bad. I'm mainly like anytime I'm like sitting up or trying to walk on it, it's been painful. So
Tell them how you did it.
Well, we were in Nashville, and we were having a good time, but we decided that it was cheaper to use the scooters as a way of transportation, and it was a little dark, and a curb seemed to have gotten my way, and so I went straight from standing up to flat on the side of my body, and I went to work last week and was working through the pain, but it continued to get worse over the weekend, so I went to the bone and joint and didn't get the greatest news.
It's still unconfirmed.
It's not confirmed yet, but basically like the last 24 hours and actually plus a little bit, I've been on crutches and laid in bed, and so my beautiful wife has been having to do all of the things around the house plus taking care of the kid, and I'm just laying here helplessly, basically.
The kid and the baby.
The kid and the baby, yeah, right. So I went and got a CT scan today, so I'll know results tomorrow, and hopefully it's nothing, and I can go back to work and keep moving on.
So send out your good vibes and prayers for him, because he hates being down, like literally down, like physically down.
And I'm ready to throw these crutches out the door.
Yeah. I will admit the last 48 hours have been some of the most stressful I've
I can't
experienced
imagine.
in a while.
I've mainly seen like in the last 24 hours, basically, because I've seen you just reach a level of frustration where I can't really, there's nothing I can really do, and nothing I can really, I guess it comes down to what only I can say, nothing else do.
Yeah.
And I'm
But
more of a
work.
doer, not a sayer.
Look, the day has ended. The baby's asleep.
He's sleeping good,
He's
too.
snoozing right now. It's currently 8:48. He's been asleep for like what? He's been asleep since 7. So he's cruising.
No crying.
No crying. I had some dinner. We got all this equipment set up that I drug out. Collin can't do anything. But it was important to me that you all experienced your mom podcast for the week, so we just made it work.
I don't know about that.
Shout out twinsies. We've got
SEC,
our
baby.
SEC matching sweatshirts on as if we weren't already a cheesy enough couple.
War Eagle, too.
I think what the people want to know is what's dad life like?
So dad life is interesting. You go from before me and Ashton got married, and you go from a part where you're just taking care of yourself and just, trying to build yourself up better as a person. And then you go into marrying somebody that you love. So then not only are you trying to, build your life up, build maybe your work success up, but then also you're, wanting to provide your wife's dreams too. And so I think as a man, I think that we might feel more pressure because, we're the initial providers. It hasn't been bad because you have your dreams and I have my dreams, and then we bring a kid into the mix, and then the kid brings both of our dreams together. And so then not only are we wanting dreams for ourselves, but we're also wanting dreams for our kid or maybe our next kid, whatever, however it goes. So we're just kind of building on a foundation like that.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel like has changed about you as a person, though, as like being a dad? Like just like individually as Collin, how have you changed?
Well, I would definitely say like like I used to not worry about things as much. Like even if it was just like me and you, like I wouldn't worry about things. But now that we have Jackson, like I worry about Jackson and I worry about you like all the time because there's so many things that you do as a but you're running your own business at home, but you're also a stay-at-home mom the same way. So you're doing two things at one time, and like sometimes I worry that I'm not doing exactly the best. I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing enough for both of y'all because I know that you're doing like two things at one time where I'm just getting up and going to work, whereas where you're getting up and going to work and taking care of a kid.
Yeah.
So sometimes it gives me more, not necessarily anxiety, but like gives me more worry that I'm not doing the best I can do for y'all.
But because you get up and you go to work every day, you make it to where I can be a stay-at-home mom and do my job from home. And I mean, you carry the bulk of the bills, so I can just bring in a little extra sausage to go with your bacon.
Well, I think your sausage is going well with my bacon. No,
just the breakfast casserole over here.
Throw a little cream cheese in there. No, I think we do a great job together, and like
we're a good team.
I couldn't do it.
Pound it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it with anybody else for real.
No, I definitely think that if you didn't like each other before you had a kid, having a kid's not going to help that. You have to have good communication and a good love for each other far before you bring a child into the mix because they are going to test your stress level like no other. They're precious little angels, but they're stressful little angels.
Well, and like I do want to give like an example, like, and today I really did see it, and I'm not gonna like throw your business out there or nothing too hard, but like today was just like I could tell that it was like so stressful on you today, and like
I'll tell them I was the train wreck today. Today was hard. Today was a hard day. I was just running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Well,
you can tell them. Be honest.
Well, I want you to tell them how you felt about today.
No, it was just there was no like particular feeling. It was just a lot. Like I think I told Collin twice today. Like it's just been a lot today. It was just dealing with him being hurt and I tried to go get my laptop fixed today and it wasn't fixed and I had to just bring it back and it was like every errand I had to run, I had to bring Jackson with me because Collin can watch him obviously, but like if he has to be picked, like he can't pick him up or anything. I mean, he literally can't put any weight on his head.
Well, the thing is that I will pick him up.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to. Yeah. So, which is not different from during the day normally because normally you're not here, you're at work. But it was just that more errands had to be run, I think. So I don't know. Today, I really don't think it had anything to do with your hip injury or anything Jackson was doing out of the ordinary. I think it was just our circumstances piling up a little bit to bring me some stress. But
I don't really think there was like anything to do with me. I think that the main reason that you were super frustrated today, and there was nothing I can really do physically about it. So it was only like maybe words that I could say, but my way of coping with that is like, okay, I just need you. Once Jackson like went and took a nap, I was like, okay, I just need you to sit down and just chill out. Like
which I can't do.
Just chill out. Like that's the only way that I'm able to cope with that part right now.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Because I can't like get up and do things that I normally do.
Yeah.
Even though I'm doing behind your back.
Well, you don't need to do that.
I'm not doing that much behind your back, but I'm simple things I can do with my crutches.
Well, I'm one that I think I saw a quote on Facebook the other day that said every chaotic, stressed out wife needs a calm husband. So, like we're both like energetic, like can't sit still people. So I'm in a position where I'm picking up the slack. No offense. You're not purposely slacking. No. You're medically ordered to slack. And so I can't sit down, but you want me to sit down because you see me being stressed, and then you want to step up and help me, but you can't because you're supposed to be sitting down. So we both need to just sit down, which is what we're doing. We're sitting down with you guys.
But it's right like, and also it's like something like I can't help, but other than to see you stressed out, like I can't help, but like want to help.
Want to help, yeah.
Exactly. Like I don't want, this isn't like a me you thing. It's an us thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that bothers me is I feel like it's not much of an us thing. Like you're having to do everything, and
but,
I can't stand that.
I feel like I read somewhere that I keep quoting all these things I've read places, but people always say a relationship is 50-50, But the truth is it's 100, but like not at all times. So like if you're not able to give 100%, then I have to pick up that percentage you can't. But it's like it fluctuates because like, you know, when I was down with like after having Jackson or if I've ever been sick, like I also I broke out in a mysterious rash that we think was from a hot tub. What day was that? Saturday?
It was Friday night. It was Saturday morning.
All day Saturday, I had this like
morning.
horrible rash all over me.
And Sunday got worse.
So I basically got like had to be doped up on Benadryl. So I was knocked out cold all day. So you had to step up and take care of Jackson then. You know,
Well,
it's like it goes back and forth. It's like if I'm down, you're going to pick up the slack and vice versa. And that's just how it's meant to be. Like neither one of us are going to be able to give 100% of the time. And so if you're like right now only able to give 30, then I'll give the 70. And then when it comes to back around and I can only give 30, you'll give the 70. Like that's how it works.
I think that like where it comes in like too is like if you're getting 100%, I'm getting 100%. That's kind of like where the 50-50 meets. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so say I'm, 30% or whatever, then you can put like 120% in or 125%.
I think I would put in 175% today.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I feel so bad today because like I just like it wasn't nothing against you. I just didn't want you to. I could see how frustrated you were, and that's the only frustration it brought on me was because I felt helpless.
Yeah.
So there was no, physically like even like today, like I had to have my dad go up my front yard, my backyard, and weed eat and all that, and like I'm just that bothers me, But I'm gonna go by what the doctor says, and I'm gonna have to stay
and that's the
in
thing
bed.
is like we're really blessed to have people in our life that will step up and help us, but they know that if they need us, we'll step up when they need it. Like that's like what family's for. That's what friends are for. Like if you are always there for people when they need you, they'll be there when you need them, and then no one ever has to go without help. And it's never an inconvenience to anyone because like they're happy to help because you've helped them before.
Yeah.
And like I think that we have a ton of people. Like there were probably 10 people I could have called to cut our grass if I had to ask.
Oh yeah, there was
we have
people
so
that's
many
like,
good people
okay,
in
if this
our
person can't do it, they can do it.
Well, and when even like, his mom and stepdad, they live on our street. They live right down the road, and like our dryer's broken. That's another thing. I feel like a lot of things are just broken right now.
Oh yeah, we broke the dryer apart. We drove the dryer apart.
The dryer's broken. The computer's broken. Colin's hip is broken. There's a lot of broken things right now, but we have like them right down the road, and so we've been able to like drop off laundry. They like have watched Jackson when we've needed them. Like we're just really, I don't know how people do it without help. Like think about people who like have a baby or like like a kid Jackson's age, and they move to a new town and have no one, like no family or friends.
I can do it. Yeah,
we would not. I don't even know how we would function without our family.
Well, that's even like the thing with the dryer is like, I had an electrician come over and work on it. It was my buddy Steven Abel. Shout out, baby. But like even then, there's still more complications to it. I'm not gonna break it down. But
we need to take I'll insert a picture of what the dryer looks like right now.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
it's like a hot mess back there.
But we're gonna get it fixed. But that's the thing is like, say you're going through a bunch of stuff, this week or, you as a family. Say there's a bunch of different things. Say there's like 10 different things. Well, next week, 10 different things could come together, and then it would all make sense. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it. I try to.
It's circumstantial. It's not like forever. It's just like I think that's where my stress came from the past couple of days. Is it's just felt like one thing after the other. Like it's just been like, oh my gosh. Like not that we're not incredibly blessed and like happy. Like I'm not saying like, oh poor us. Like me feel sorry for us. That's not what I mean. I just mean. It's just sometimes there's just it feels like a lot piles on, and you're just like, God, like can one more thing break? Like when they called me today and told me my laptop wasn't fixed, I was so upset, and it wasn't even that big of a deal because I can still use it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to be the one to tell you that because
he was the one that answered the phone.
They called you whenever you was going in there to pick Jackson up, and I was like, oh God, I was like, I'm just going to get her to call you back. I was like, I'm in a tough situation here right now. And so then
he knew. So my question for you is, what is your favorite thing about us being parents and your least favorite thing that is like changed about us?
I'll say my favorite thing about us being parents is that, aside from, just loving you for who you are, like I've seen you be a mother, like I feel like I'm more attracted to you seeing you love your son. Mm-hmm. And because we love him so much, like the way that you care for him and take care of him, I love it so much.
Something that's changed like in a negative way.
Well, it's kind of like the stage that we're in right now is where Jackson's like kind of like if he don't want something, he's just like, me. Like he'll whine about it or something like that.
Tonks is on the table.
No, she's made her way to the table. I don't necessarily know if there's a bad to it. I would say the only stage I don't like that we're in is that he's kind of that whiny stage.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't even just mean him. Like with me and you.
Oh, with me and you. Okay, with me.
Or
and you.
either any like anything about like our relationship, like your life, that's changed since we had a baby. That you're like this is sort of.
I don't necessarily think that there's just a real bad thing about it. I would say just like for other couples, I would say that like sometimes they just be careful of, like almost a warning that you could get too focused on your kid and not worry about each other. But I don't really have a negative necessarily.
No, I feel like to help to help further your point is to say that like I get really lost in my identity as being Jackson's mother and like losing my identity as just being your wife. Yeah. And that's a really like not like it's like that all the time.
I don't think you do a bad job of it.
Well, it's easy to get caught up in just like my identity being focused on being Jackson's mother because I'm literally with him like almost 24/7. Like it's just like I'm with him all day and he relies on me so much that it's hard to not feel like even like I identify as Jackson's mom more than I do a photographer or just like a friend or especially and a wife, like all that. Like my number one identity is Jackson's mom and there's a lot more to me than that. But it can affect your relationships, not just marriages, but it can affect your relationships if all you identify yourself as a parent. Like you've got to remember there's more to you than that.
Well, and I think that like this past Friday night, I think that like you really, even if you were stepping out of your comfort zone or whatever it was, like we went to a new restaurant, we went and tried some different things. Then
his parents kept Jackson for us that night. Like
so we had our night to ourselves on Friday.
We just got to have a date night and like, I think we try to make sure we make time for that as much as we can. I mean, but let's be honest, some of it's just like financially you're not in a place to go out and do that. Like you're just it's not a big deal to go to Foodland, pick up some steaks and grill them at home. But even if you're grilling steaks at home, which I want to tell everybody the story of what you did. So Collin wanted to make a night special for me one night. I don't remember why. I think it was just because maybe I'd just been stressed. I don't know. But I want to tell this story because we did have Jackson here because I think it was like a weeknight. And he was like, look, just get Jackson ready for bed. I'm working on something. And I was like, okay. So I got Jackson bathed and fed and put to sleep and everything. And then we had dinner. And he's like, all right, go outside. I have a surprise for you. And I go out on the back porch. And he, those like plastic blue kiddie pools, but like they're pretty big. I mean, it's not like tiny. It's a decent sized little pool. Well, we have one of those for Jackson, and he got it from his mom's house and put it on the porch. Set up our little TV out there, hooked up the hot water from the washer, and ran it into the kiddie pool with like soap. He had like my drink out there. He had like a robe and all this stuff.
Bath bombs.
And bath bombs, yeah. And I'll be honest.
It was a redneck hot tub.
But I'll be honest with you, like, and he knows this. My first thought when I walked out there was, I'm not getting in that thing.
Oh, I know that's what it was.
I looked at it because it didn't even occur to me that the water was actually going to be hot. Like I thought you just got the hose, and I was like, that looks miserable. Like I'm not about to get in that.
Plus, we're on the back porch.
Yeah, like, and our back porch isn't like super private. I mean, you can see us like if you're looking hard enough. And this wasn't like a swimsuit kind of deal, y'all. He wanted me to get in this thing like a bath, naked on my back porch. But my biggest concern was the temperature of the water because I did not believe that it was actually going to be warm because I didn't even know you could hook up water from the washer. And two was that I'm like, what if our neighbors just step out onto the porch and here I am naked in a 4-inch deep pool?
Yeah, like, they wouldn't say us than not, no matter what. I mean, it is not fully private, but they don't think they would have been able to see you.
Well, anyways. And I'll be honest, I was really hesitant at first because I was like, this is so out of my comfort zone. I ain't trying to be naked on my porch. I ain't trying to get in this cold pool. But then I felt the water and I was like, holy crap, this is like actually really warm. And it was I'm not just saying this because I've already told him. I'm not just saying this to make him smile. It really was nice. Like, he like had our TV show playing on the TV, and like it was a little, it's probably a little funny looking.
It was a little janky.
Well, because eventually, again, let me just say again that I'm naked in this thing. And eventually he got in with me. And
Naked.
I'm sure it did look really funny for us both to just be sitting in a kiddie pool with like only our butt, like, I mean, literally from our belly button up is just sticking out naked in our backyard. So I'm sure it looked funny, but it was actually very, very relaxing. It was very romantic.
We was watching a good show at the time.
Yes, we had just started watching that series, Friday Night Lights. And it was nice, but like, anyways, I say that to say that no money was involved in that. Like, he literally just used what was in his, what he had. He made this like great
And
date
I actually had to go to the bathtub from Mom's house.
Yeah. So,
because the kids'
seriously,
bath
guys,
was
like,
good.
how many of you guys have ever been that creative to set up some type of little date night for your wife? Okay? That's creative.
I mean, I did think, like, later on it was creative, but, like, at the beginning of it, kept telling you, I was like, you just got to have faith in me. I was like, you just got to have a little faith. I was like,
Yeah.
it's going to be janky.
It was janky, but it was nice.
But, like, at the end of it, like, there was bath bombs involved, and
There were bath bombs involved.
I mean, that does make a difference. But
No,
plus,
it really
there was a
was
stressful
nice.
time going on, too. Not necessarily
Oh,
that you
yeah.
were just
Well,
completely
this was-
stressed out, but
this
Jackson
was-
was not sleeping
Yes,
very well.
that's what it was.
And so, like, I wanted to, like, treat you to a moment
Yeah.
where you could just relax, we could watch a TV show.
No, but like, he does this kind of stuff all the time. Like, he'll just randomly set up our room for like a full body massage for me, or he'll like plan a nice dinner or whatever. And I'm like
a romantic.
And I'm not. Like, I'm like the worst about it. And I think it's probably his least favorite thing about me.
I wouldn't say that. I think that I'm almost
What is your
like,
least favorite thing about me?
Okay. Your least favorite thing about me,
No,
about you.
your least
least
favorite
thing
thing
about me is that, or about
No.
you. Sorry. I keep getting my words mixed up. Is that I feel like that you put too much on your platter, and you try to take on too much whenever, you know how much I'm trying to help you out.
I feel like that's like the nice guy answer. You really do wish I was more romantic.
I mean, there are times that I do wish that,
He's just mushy, and I'm not.
but
I love him just the same. I'm just
no,
not
and I
like.
know that. Like, and
I'm not all-
I'm more physical too.
He's like a walking Nicholas Sparks novel, and I'm just like not that way. I'm awkward. I'm just
Maybe
really
I should write a
awkward.
book.
I would read your book.
You
want to know?
scary.
You know what? You want to know? What, you know what's funny is he's so romantic. But you want to know what he did the other night? We were talking with some friends about some themed parties, and we said that we would do Adam Sandler themed parties. And I was like, well, do you have to go as like an Adam Sandler character or any character from an Adam Sandler movie? And he's like, no, like you can do any character from the movie. And you want to know what he told me I should go as? Chubbs. And instantly,
Okay, but it was funny at the time.
no, he sunk back into his chair and was like, that came out wrong. I didn't mean it like
Yeah, I
that.
did.
Like, and I'm like, really? You want me to go as Chubbs?
Well,
This is the
another
same
thing-
man who looked at me wearing a swimsuit with peaches on it and said I was the giant peach and James and the giant peach.
Okay, but you knew where I was coming from.
He would never ever insult me or call me fat, but he has stuck his foot in his mouth so many times on accident. And I'm like, wow, okay.
It's probably because normally, like, I speak before I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'm usually, my mouth is usually ahead of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I know. I still don't get why I would be that character, Chubbs. I am not a black man with one arm, but I don't know why. I don't know why that was your go-to.
it was just a funny one. But I also think that, like, so all of us are coming up on our 30th birthdays. We have a pretty big select group of friends that are going to have their 30th birthdays. And so, like, we've been trying to come up with all these different plans for each one. And so that was kind of where that conversation came from. Mm-hmm. What do you think yours is going to be?
I already know what I'm doing. I want to do a Jersey 30, and I want a Jersey Shore theme party because I love Jersey Shore.
Are you going to do a blowout, or are you going to do like a?
I can't do a blowout. My hair would touch the ceiling.
Are
I'm
you
going to
going
do
to
a
be like
poof.
a Sammy Sweetheart?
No, I'm going to be Snooki. I'm going to do the poof.
Well, that's what I was curious about. I was like, which one are
Yeah.
you going to be? What do you think I should
Snooki.
be?
Mike the Situation. But the new Mike who just loves to eat.
No. I disagree.
Who do you want to be?
I want to do a blowout.
Oh, well, yeah, you could do that.
I wonder
But
if
you could
Paula D-
also just like walk around acting like Mike the situation, and that would be funny.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, we're back. We always have to. Oh, let me start my timer.
Bing, bang.
We have to reset the camera because it only records up to a certain amount of time. But yeah, I did want to say that parenthood has been a challenge, obviously, but I feel like we're killing it.
Yeah, I do feel the same.
Like, I feel like if you look back at the beginning when Jackson was born, we were so like we were just like zombies. First of all, we were zombies because we were tired, but we just didn't know. Like, first time parents, nobody knows what they're doing. Like, I mean, you really just have to wing it. And then now it's like, not to toot my own horn, knock on wood, hope it doesn't jinx it, but my kid's asleep right now. I don't even have to rock him. He'll sleep all night.
And he's got to the point where he's not like crying and going to sleep. Like,
yeah, like he
just
can
lay there
flops around
comfortably
in the
for
bed.
like 15 minutes.
Yeah, we sleep because we sleep trained him, which that sucked.
We waited a little late too.
Yeah,
I thought we should probably done it a little earlier.
just start sleeping them at
Yeah.
training them at 7 months probably, and just do it and stick with it. Just they're gonna cry and they're gonna scream and you're gonna hate it and you're gonna feel like you're a bully, but just let them do it.
And there is a difference between that 7-month cry and like that 1-year-old cry.
Oh yeah, the 1-year-old
like
cry.
the 1-year-old cry is like
They're like ticked off at you.
yeah,
They're so mad. Like when they're little, it's like, oh, the little baby. And when they get a little bit older, you're like, oh my gosh. You're like he cried so hard one night, he just threw up everywhere. But what did we go through that for? Maybe a week, if that.
I would say like maybe 2 weeks, but I mean it wasn't.
Crying it out. I don't think he cried it out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he just stopped like this last week. Like it got shorter and shorter as he
But
went.
yeah, but you're talking about like not crying at all. I'm talking about like the crying for 30 minutes. Like, but for
true.
like a week, he only cried for like 10 minutes and then he went to sleep. And that's doable. It was the first night when he cried for 45 minutes where I was like, we both were crying. Like we were like,
He only did that for like maybe like 2 nights. And
Yeah.
after that, he was pretty solid after
So
that.
if you're curious about sleep training, just do it.
It'll help you and it'll help your relationship because like for me, like I was getting up and going to work at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and me and Ashton weren't really having like much of a relationship really at nighttime. But
Well,
as soon
because
as
we were so
started,
stressed. Like we were like,
Exactly.
is he going to wake up? Is he going to wake
Yeah.
up? Is he going to wake up?
and then he was up. I mean, he was up. You know, he was crying like every 2 hours or whatever. But then finally, we like made a decision. We're like, okay, we got to shut this down. Like we got to like let him cry it out. It was the hardest thing to ever do as a parent, but it was the best thing to ever do as a parent.
Yeah.
Like it was probably the hardest thing to sit there and listen to your kids scream. But overall, like
But
I feel
they're
like
not
it
in
was
pain.
the best thing.
Yeah, they're not in pain. They're not hurting. They're not, like, they're okay. They're just, you've just hurt their feelings a little bit. They just want to be held.
And that's the same way Jackson acts is like, nothing really is like hurting him. It's just like his feelings are hurt.
He's not getting his way.
He's not getting his way, yeah.
He's just like you.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a question for you.
What?
So go to you as finding out that you're a mother. Mm-hmm. Finding out that you're going to be a mom. Mm-hmm. Like, what was in your head whenever you found out you were going to be a mom? Mm. And what did you think about having the kid, and what did you think about having the kid, who you was having the kid with?
Well, I was happy I was having it with you.
I would assume so. But just keep going on.
Well, I never questioned, doing it with you was the part that scared me the least. Like, knowing that I was going to be having this child with you and we were going to do it as a team is what gave me comfort. Like, because we're a good team and I knew that, like, you'd be there to get me through it. But it wasn't like, it's not like we're like 17, like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. Like, we were at the age where it's like, this is normal. We've been married for a while. Like, this isn't like a big shock or anything. But it was a little bit of a shock, obviously, because you were shocked when I told you. Well,
you got to think about our stories before, that. Like, we had actually a pregnancy scare before then.
Yeah, we did. I did think I don't even know what possessed me to take a pregnancy test, but I was just like, I don't know why, I just think I'm pregnant. So I was going to take a test, and me and his mom had gone to Memphis to go see him because he was working there. And I was like, I told his mom I had to go to the bathroom. So we stopped at a CVS, and I bought a pregnancy test without telling her, and I put it in my purse. And then while we were getting ready to go out to eat that night, I went in the bathroom and took it. And then I looked at it, and it said I was pregnant.
Worst trip ever.
It was
terrible.
you don't actually expect it to be positive. Like, you just take it for the, like, clarity of, like, you know, like, you take it, like, waiting for it to say negative. So I was not expecting it to say positive. So I literally walked out of the bathroom, and him and his mom were just sitting there in the hotel room waiting on me to, like, go to dinner, and they're watching Shrek. And I just, like, am shaking. My whole body's shaking, and I start crying. And I was like, y'all, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't want to ruin this trip, but this test says that I'm pregnant, and I have no idea what to do. And him and his mom just, like, slowly, like, look at each other and say nothing.
How do we look at each other?
You guys were just, like, his mom was just, I'll do it at the camera. His mom was just like, like,
This is
they were,
how I looked. I was like,
yeah, I, like, shocked them. So then it, like,
oh, my God.
well, then we didn't want to say, we didn't, like, I don't know. We were just trying to, like, not think about it, I guess. So we kept calling the baby Lord Farquaad because we had been watching Shrek. So all night, like, we go to dinner, we go to the Bass Pro Shop, we, like, do this. I can't even, like, relax. Can't even have a dang beer at dinner because I'm like, well, I'm pregnant. So.
And the whole point of the trip was for them to come stay with me because I had been working down there for, like, probably like 2 months or maybe a little less than that. And I was like, well, I just want my family to come down and see me. And then we get down there and Ashton's like, oh, I'm pregnant. And we're like, oh, God.
Yeah. So the whole time at dinner, the whole time trying to shop around, like, I can't even relax. I don't think any of us could relax. So then we go back and she's like, well, why don't you take another one just to be sure? And I've never heard of a false positive. Like, so I thought for sure I was pregnant.
I still to this day haven't heard one.
Yeah. So I go and I take the second one because they came in a 2-pack, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe I bought one. No, we bought it. Your mom was like, do you want to go get another one? I was like, yes, I'm not going to be able to relax unless I take another one.
Yeah, because, like, you had, like, one that was negative, then you had one that was positive, and then also...
No, well, hold on. You're telling it all out of order. The first one, the only first one I took was positive. Okay? And that's why I was so freaked out. Then I took a second one that night, and it said negative. Well, that did not help me at all because then I was even more confused because I'm like, well, heck, is it positive or is it negative? Like, am I pregnant or am I not? Like, I could not relax. So then I took a third one that night, and it said negative. So I was like, okay, now I'm starting to think I'm not pregnant. And his mom was like, well, you know, ladies, if you didn't know this, your morning pee is the most accurate for a pregnancy test. So you really need to take it in the morning. So I took it the next morning, and it said negative. And I think I took like 7 more after that, and they all said negative. So I wasn't pregnant at that time. But that was in what, September?
Yeah, it could have been.
And then I ended up getting pregnant in like October. And I took the test. I took like 5 tests at home. Every single one of them was positive, and I was like, yeah. And it was, I found out the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so how do you feel after having Jackson? Like, how do you feel after your experience having Jackson and, like, being in the hospital and all that?
I mean, I feel a lot more leveled out now than I did. Like, it took me probably until he was 3 months old to even, like, really get out of the house with him. Not get out of the house, but just with him. Because I just was like, I'm like, can you take a baby to the grocery store? Like, I didn't know anything. But now it's like, if I got to go do something, like, Jackson just comes with me. Like, we just kind of bebop around life together. And so I feel more like myself now, but also, like, never fully I'm not fully relaxed until Jackson's in bed at night.
Yeah, and but I do feel the same way. Like, especially like when I'm not in the situation I'm in now. Like so most Saturdays you're working, and you're doing photography. Mm-hmm. So most Saturdays I'm taking care of him. Mm-hmm. And like I feel the same way. I can't really feel relaxed till he's fully asleep. I can see him on the camera fully asleep.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, you've had to step up this past week or past couple days, and like I'm really proud of like how you stepped up. And
thank you.
But I feel like you go a little too hard.
You're talking to that.
Oh, I feel like you go a little too hard. But
well,
I'm so proud of you for doing how much you do.
Every stage of a kid's life is different. Like, there's times where he's so crazy now that it makes me miss the newborn stage a little bit. But then I remember the lack of sleep and like how confused we were and trying to figure it all out. And I'm thankful that even though during the day he's like full speed ahead, he sleeps at night. And that's like, that's all that matters. Like, at least you function more normally. You know what I mean? Because like when we first brought him home, and like we told each other he's not sleeping in our room. Like, in the beginning, I think your newborn needs to be in the room with you because you're literally up with them every 2 to 3 hours. So it's pointless for them to be in another room.
Yeah.
So, little tip too, don't spend a lot of money on a bassinet. Just go buy a pack and play and get a mattress for it. That's what we did.
Yeah, I agree.
He just slept in our room, and it was like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, it was an adjustment having a baby in the room because you're like nervous because they're asleep right there or whatever. But we kept his sound machine in there, and his little pack and play was over there to the side. But it was like every time he woke up, like, it would wake Collin up too. And like, I was the one who tried to get up with him because like I was breastfeeding and pumping at the same time, and there was really no point in Collin getting up because he had to be up at, like he said, like 4:30 for work. So I was like, I can at least nap when the baby naps during the day. Like, you don't need to get up. But Collin is a crazy sleeper anyways. Like, he does wild stuff in his sleep. Tonks is in the frame. And when Jackson woke up crying one night, I don't remember why you thought. I thought it too. I think we were just so sleep deprived and delusional because he was maybe like a few weeks old.
Yeah.
And we heard him crying and instantly started looking for him in the bed, which we've never put him in our bed. And Collin like jumps up from the bed and is like looking for Jackson in the sheets, like as if we buried him in the sheets or something.
And like we never like had him in the bed with us.
Never laid down with him in the bed with us. No, we've always put him in his own bed. Even when his pack and play was in our room, he never laid in the bed with us. And then Collin like jumps up and he's looking all under the sheets everywhere for Jackson. And then finally we realize he's crying in his pack and play. He was never in the bed. And so he did that one night, and then there was another night that I had mastitis really bad. And I was really, really sick. It was terrible.
That was tough.
It was probably the worst
really
part
hard.
of the whole recovery process for me. That was enough to make me never want to breastfeed again. And I was like, Collin, like, oh, no. I had woke you up because I had chills, and I was in pain so bad, and I needed you to go get me
Yeah, that's
ibuprofen.
right.
And I was trying not to wake up Jackson, but I was like violently shivering. And Collin jumps up and he grabs his pillow and he cradles it like this and he goes, "I've got the baby." And I snatched that pillow out of his hand so fast and I said, "That is not the baby." I said, "That's not the baby." I was like, I need you, but shh, like, don't wake up the baby. That's not him, you know? And like, it was just like, that was a hard time. That was like something that was like really hard to get through. But hindsight, we went through that part. Like, now Jackson, how old was he when he started like sleeping through the night, you think?
He was about 2 months old.
2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah,
because
I think it was closer to 2 months old actually, because you know he started. I want to say like me and you put him in his bed like 2 months old, but now he slept.
It was somewhere between the 2 and
bassinet,
3 mark.
You know, for that time period.
Yeah.
But you know, you're still as like a dad. You're still on edge.
Oh yeah, I'm still on edge now. Like, there's times that I'll wake up at night.
And
like,
then I feel bad because like you're on edge.
Yeah, there's still times now, even though he sleeps in it. He's been in his own room for 10 months.
He's been in his own room for most of life.
Yeah,
we
we made sure he was out of there, and ever since he's been in there, I'm pretty relaxed. Like even right now, we're recording this and I'm not watching him. Like, I normally have him pulled up on the camera, but I just know that he's good because we're in a routine now.
Well, I do have one thing that I want to say is that like there are like different people that maybe I work with or whatever it is, and like they have their kid that like sleeps with them, and he could be like years old, you know, like 6 to 7 years old, and they're still sleeping in the bed with them. I'm like, well, that's me and my wife's bed. Like, that's our time with each other.
I can
you know what I mean?
I can barely share the bed with you, much less another human being.
Well, that's another statement that's true.
He'd roll over on that kid so fast.
But I couldn't imagine, like, just, you know, even just aside from that, like, you know, I think the sleep training thing it's been key for us because it's given us both some kind of, like, relaxation.
Mm-hmm. It's like once he goes to bed, that's our time and we can relax.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
Before he started sleeping through the night, like, that time we were kind of robbed of that time because, like, we never knew if he was going to get up again and we would have to go rock him or whatever. But like now, again, knock on wood, he's probably not going to wake up, like, because he's been sleeping so
But
good.
I would
So
like
we have the relaxation to even be able to do this right here. Like,
Yeah,
we can
exactly,
sit here
yeah.
and like know that we can do a podcast together or watch a movie or do whatever, you know. In normal circumstances where couples each have a 9-to-5 job, yes, take turns getting up with the baby, for sure. But our circumstances aren't normal. And Collin is up at 4:30 in the morning, driving an hour and a half to work. Like, I needed to know that he was getting rest because otherwise he could have fallen asleep on the way to work. Like, he does a very physically demanding job. And that's not to say that what I do during the day is not difficult with Jackson, but it's not as dangerous if I drift off to sleep, like, versus you driving.
Well,
to work in
and
the
some of
morning.
that kind of turns into like, okay, look where we're at now, where sleep is better for him, but also I'm having to use crutches right now, so it's not, you're still having to do everything right now, but it drives me crazy because I can see how frustrated you're getting.
Not with you, though.
I know you're getting frustrated with me, but like I feel like if I was able to do more, then you wouldn't be as frustrated.
But
as
it's
you
like
were.
in our normal everyday life when you're not hurt or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't mind getting up with him because I at least get to sleep until, 7-ish, 8. Like, that's a couple more hours than you get. And I'm not having to drive an hour and a half at 4:30 in the morning at the risk of falling asleep at the wheel like you do. So
Yeah.
I just think you have to just look at your situation. Like, there's no cookie cutter explanation of a husband and wife in a, mom and dad role. Like, it all depends on your circumstances. Like, if we both were getting up at 4:30 in the morning, like, yeah, we should take turns with him. Or if we both had day jobs, we should figure out a way to take turns. But there's really no point in Collin getting up with him when he's already getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work and do a physically demanding job,
Yeah, and hopefully,
But I will say
more
now,
of that changes.
nighttime, that, like, we share, like, we always give him a bath together. We
Yeah.
eat dinner together. Like, you come in and
We sing him a song.
we sing him a song. You want to hear the song? You want to sing it?
You'll see.
Rub-a-dub-dub, Jackson's in the tub.
Rub-a-dub-dub,
Jackson's in the tub.
Rub-a-dub-dub, Jackson's in the tub.
Rub-a-dub-dub, Jackson's in the tub.
I'll burp.
And we sing that to him every night, and we do it together. So I do feel...
Whether we're with each other or not with
Yeah,
each other.
one of us always sings a song. But I feel like we've done a decent job of, like, respecting each other's role and never, what's the word I'm looking for? Never, like, holding resentment towards the other if, like, you have to carry the weight of taking care of Jackson more, I do, or whatever. It goes back to that 100% thing. I think it all goes back to loving, like, don't do anything for your child, for your spouse, out of obligation. Because then resentment will set in. And you're going to be like, well, I did this because, I was trying to make you feel better. Blah, blah, blah. But, like, if you truly, like, love your spouse, it's not going to be a burden on you to step in and be like, I'll give him a bath tonight. Or, like, I'll put him to bed tonight or whatever. Like, you want to, like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's been, like, the greatest joy to be parents, and I think we're a lot better at it than we expected to be.
Yeah.
But I think we're also pretty good at balancing being young adults, too.
Well, I feel like
we
that,
make time for our friends and to have fun and to go out and have date nights, just me and you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like we make our friends our priority too, but it's like no less than what we make our son be. Our
No, like,
priority,
he's number one no matter what. But I don't think you can be, like, a good parent if you're not taking time for yourselves every now and then.
Exactly, and plus, like, we don't know what we're doing, but I feel like we're doing something right. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
I like to think we're doing something right.
I think we're doing something right.
I'll tell you
I
this
do
much.
agree.
Nothing about us sitting here talking right now is fake. Like, I genuinely love you so much, and you're my best friend, and I'm thankful for you. And I think we have, like, the most perfect, beautiful baby boy son who's, like, the best. And again, I'm not trying to portray this like we're this perfect couple that never has issues. Like, we argue, we have things that we have to work through that, we've changed. Like, we're not the same people we were 4 years ago when we got together.
Oh, we couldn't be.
No, but that's
We
not a
probably-
bad thing. It's
we probably wouldn't be together if we were the same people we were
yeah, like,
years ago.
we've changed so much, and we've come a long way. We've both experienced a lot of things in life that were hard, and so I think I was actually telling him this the other night, that going through the things we went through individually before we got together, and then the hard times we went through when we first got together, I think makes us appreciate the calmness of our life now.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather deal with a fussy child than some of the dark stuff we've dealt with in our past.
I mean, yeah, there were things like, in the past.
Give me staying up all night any day of the week rather than some of the other stuff I've dealt with.
But we also, we see each other for who we are, and so I think that's one of the things that helps us get through those times is that, there's never a time where you wonder who I am. There's never a time
We've
that I
seen
wonder
the darkest
who you are.
parts of each other. And
we know, we know what page, I know what page you're on before you ever think about what page I'm on. When it comes down to it, whether it's on your side or my side, we're killing it.
Yeah, I think we're
I think we're killing it.
This has been it's been a tough couple of days, and you're not used to being injured, you're not used to being down, but
hopefully tomorrow I get good news.
Yeah, you guys,
and I can walk around.
Give us your prayer. Maybe we'll
throw it up for us, guys.
Throw it up for us.
Yeah, throw it up for us.
Yeah, so here's hoping.
I need to be able to walk.
Here's hoping that we get good news tomorrow.
I'm so tired of crutches. No, I really enjoyed being here, and
we want to do this again.
I hope this is just a different perspective,
Yeah. Well, and I definitely we'll see if we can bring in we want to see if Cammie will bring her husband on for an episode and let them kind of do this same thing because they have a totally different perspective. We have a son that's 13 months old and they have 2 daughters, so their life probably looks totally different from ours. And I would love to hear what they have to say, and obviously maybe we can get listener questions and people will be like, I want to ask Collin this.
That would be good. Maybe you could get all 4 of us together after maybe they do their special.
Their special.
Well, it is kind of a special. But maybe you could just ask. Maybe somebody has a question for me and Ozzy.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of the Mom Podcast featuring one of the dads. But we enjoyed it. You guys cross your fingers and hope that Jackson sleeps all night and we didn't jinx it, and that Collin gets good news from the doctor tomorrow, and that my laptop gets fixed. But you know what? If all those things don't happen, we're still blessed and highly favored.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Pound it.
Pound it, girl.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Mom Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a new upload. See you next time.